builder dude just said that there was actually an inspector out here this morning checking the poly right there and approved the poly, and so then that means that they can put the foam boards in over top. And already has 2 layers of foam in it. So there's an under layer and an over layer. In, out, in, out, in, out. This last one right here, where there's only one, what this is, so the problem was when they made this telepost nice and straight and level, it knocked the plumbing here out of place, and so it was sitting up too high and it was going to sit out of the concrete. So actually what they did was they just moved this drain over a little bit, and then this is the foam right here that the in-floor heat is going to sit on. And then the question was because this channel drain right here, U-drain or whatever it's called, wasn't in yet, they were gonna have to like stop progress and come back like in like a while. So instead, they're actually gonna put a piece of foam where that channel drain is gonna be, like pour the concrete around it, and like slope it to that channel, and then once the concrete's dry, you take that piece of foam out and then put that drain in and grout around it so that it won't leak. Our builder dude just said that there was actually an inspector out here this morning checking the poly right there and approved the poly, and so then that means that they can put the foam boards in over top. And they're just notching it out around the plumbing, and then they are sealing it with tape as they go. And they're working really quick. It's really cool.
Halfway and then get caught up and
All right, this section already has 2 layers of foam in it. So there's an under layer and an overlayer. And that's what it looks like so far. And this is all for the in-floor heat that's going to go in over top of it. So the foam is in. And this is where the in-floor heat tubes are all going to come up to. And they're just traveling these tubes all over this foam. There we go. So we kind of made a mistake on this. Not made a mistake, but this drain was supposed to be in this room. But if we run this wall next to this window, this is the steam room wall, then the drain is kind of on this side, but it's not a big deal because we can probably run the wall from here, notch it this way, and then run it down so that the drain does end up in here. And then maybe there's like a shelf in here for like the boys' like soaps and stuff. So it might work in our favor. Yeah, it'll be like a planned design. Not an accident.
Wait till the dental still back next to it.
So far there's 3 lines of the in-floor heat in the floor heat tubing. And so let's say this is the in, it goes down all the way that way, and then it comes back, and then this is the same line, so this would be coming back, so then that's the in, that's coming back, the in and coming back, and so it's all nice and organized. So I think there's just going to be one more roll here to finish off this last section of in-floor heat. So since the last video, they put the rebar down. And then that just helps strengthen the concrete. So the tubes for the in-floor heat, kind of like a stapled in. And then that sits underneath the rebar. So then they're pouring the concrete tomorrow. So actually our plumber is here helping us, and we just slightly aligned this better because it was sitting out away from that telepost a little bit, and so they just put it back in place. Building a house seems to be a lot of late nights. And then that red line, I'll go to it. This red line right here, that's where the finished concrete height is going to be. So then the one other thing that they're fixing before the concrete gets poured tomorrow, gotta be careful where I step here, is this drain right here. Kind of fell underneath this window a little bit, and so they just moved it over, so now it's actually going to be in the shower and not out of the shower. Because you know, you kind of want that. What do you think, CJ? Not bad?
Picture, just so you know.
Okay, so that,
I mean,
That's the drain
you
for
can
the shower.
see. I would almost.
okay, so 14. So this is to remember where this in-floor heat is relative to the drain,
In
is
case
that?
you ever need to move the drain.
In case you ever have to move the drain.
And then you got another one. That's about 16 inches away.
Okay,
And then
that's really smart to know. Whoa! Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so this is where the toilet's gonna go, and the in-floor heat is near it. So what he just had us do was take a picture of where this in-floor heat line is, because sometimes the toilets, they have to be bolted down to the concrete, and you wouldn't want to pierce your in-floor heat line. Okay, so here is what in-floor heat tubes look like. So, in, out, in, out, in, out. This last one right here, where there's only one, what this is the sensor for how hot the slab is. And this one hose, I believe, goes to this black right here. And that's where it ends, right here. But it's to sense, you don't want the in-floor heat to be the room temperature, like of the air. You want the in-floor heat to be the temperature of what the concrete actually is. Oh my goodness, it's pouring the concrete day. Wow, it's warm in there. over there, they're slanting the shower towards the drain. And then the concrete guys really like that we fixed this post right here, or this plumbing next to this post. And then as well as the plumbing next to that window, they said we did a really good job. Or we, the plumber and Justin did a good job. This is a very experienced crew. They know exactly what they're doing. They're definitely not practicing. Oh neat, they're checking the height of the concrete using that board. And you can't tell in this video, but it is crazy warm down here. Whatever heat they have going is quite hot. So I just asked them, how long do they have before it sets? And he said, well, it's 9 a.m. now, and by 11 a.m. you'll be able to walk on this. So that means probably not very long. Oh, here comes more concrete. it dries, it's actually going to get hotter. Oh. Like glass.
And then as soon as tomorrow, you can start putting weight on it.
Yeah. Like, so we want to start your furnace tomorrow. Get in there.
So they're actually going to polish it. They're actually going to polish the concrete today. So they're going to let it dry for a little bit here. Holy mackerel, is it hot in here. And then that's hanging from the ceiling over there. That's one of the polishers, which is incredible. So it already looks like glass. I imagine it's going to be really pretty once it's polished. If you're looking for a really great concrete company, they did our foundation as well as poured the concrete floor, and they are excellent. They're taking that piece of foam out, and then you're going to see a hole in the concrete, which is exactly what we wanted. It's a nice little placeholder. What they're doing, I'll just back away so you can hear me. What they're doing is they're polishing the concrete, and what that machine does is it brings up the air bubbles to the surface, so it just makes a smoother finish on top. Alright, so it is really hot and humid downstairs, and so we opened up all the windows in the basement, and now I'm going to open up some windows on the main floor just to let the humidity out, because you don't want your surfaces on the main floor to get all funny. So that is what I'm on my way to do. Oh, it's locked. Tui's already watching me. Oh, I'm not supposed to open it that wide. Yeah, with these windows, you're only supposed to open them halfway. Or not halfway, but kind of like that. So you don't want the wind to grab them. Open up this one right here. Okay, one other thing, because it is lightly raining, they told us that we should really make sure the sump pit runs like later on tonight, just to make sure that it doesn't mess up the concrete, like it being, it's not hooked up to anything, so we'll have to hook it up to a generator and run it so that it doesn't overflow and then mess up our concrete. It's the following day, and this is what it looks like. There's no lights in here, but it's all been polished. The concrete is completely done, and we can actually start installing things like the furnace and the stairs coming down. It's amazing how different it looks. They did an incredible job, and it is still insanely hot down here. This concrete is letting off a lot of heat. We have all the windows open still so that the moisture has a place to go out rather than up into the main floor. There you go, that piece of foam was cut out. It looks pretty incredible. And then this drain is going to be in the steam room, steam shower. And that's a piece of foam that just gets cut out. And so the channel drain goes in. What a difference. Next up, stay tuned for the hooking up of the electrical and furnace hookup.